Hi, it's Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Cover blog post I want to share with you. Of course, review the latest in social media and technology. We're doing a phone versus comparison here between two phones, the Motorola Droid Razr Maxx HD, huge monster that's come out recently. And this is actually an older phone, the iPhone 4S by Apple. We're doing this comparison, of course, because a lot of people do have the 4S and they'd like to know what possibly to upgrade to in the future, or just to compare how their phone matches up. So we'll be doing this. Both phones are from VerizonWireless.com. That's VerizonWireless.com. You can go to the website, tell them Chris Voss sent you. And let's go ahead and match these two puppies up. Be sure to subscribe to our channels, of course, as all the major phone companies send us phones for us to review. The dimensions on the Droid Razr Maxx is 5.19 in height. It's 2.67 in width. And it's also 0.370 in thickness. On the Apple iPhone 4S, the height is 4.5 inches, 2.31 in width, and 0.37 in thickness. On the weight for the Droid Razr Maxx HD, it's 5.54 ounces, and on the iPhone 4S, it is 4.9 ounces in weight. On the Droid Razr Maxx, you're looking at a 3,300 milliamp hour battery, which I think is almost the largest battery on a mobile phone today. On the iPhone 5, this is iPhone 4S, I believe we're looking at, I think it's a 1,440 milliamp battery. I'm not sure. I actually don't have the notes here. But it's definitely a smaller, older battery comparatively. On the display, you're looking at OLED full color resolution, 720, 1280 pixels in the Motorola HD. You're looking at 4.7 diagonal screen, Super AMOLED. On the 4S, you're looking at the LCD color TFT resolution, 640 by 960 pixels. And on that, it's got a 3.5 diagonal screen, 16.7 million colors. On the Android, of course, with the Motorola HD, you're looking at Android 4.04, some of the latest software. We don't know if it's going to upgrade to Jelly Bean. I imagine it would because it's a brand new phone. This runs, of course, right now on the Apple iOS system. It's got 6.01, I believe, that's on it right now. So the processor for the Motorola is a 1.5 gigahertz dual core processor, very fast. And the processor on the 4S is a Apple A5 dual core. I believe it's 800 megahertz that it has there. I believe some people specify as a 1 gigahertz. They round up, but that's pretty much where it's at. Memory-wise, on the Motorola, you're looking at 32 gigabytes of internal storage, 1 gigabyte of RAM. On the iPhone, you're looking at up to 62. You can get 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and I believe it has 1 gigabyte of RAM. Now, they have NFC technology on the Motorola, which is good to take and have. They do not have this on the iPhone 4S. Let's see. It also has expandable memory on the Motorola, which you can expand with a micro SD card up to 32 gigabytes just by putting it in the card. There's no expandable memory in the 4S. Photo-wise, on the Motorola, we're looking at an 8 megapixel camera. On the front-facing camera, it's a 1.3 megapixel, and it has 1080p, of course, out the back. On the Apple iPhone 4S, we're looking at an 8 megapixel camera out the back. VGA resolution out the front, I believe it's 0.3 is the resolution on the front-facing camera. And, of course, it does have 1080p out the back. Let's take a look at the backs of both these devices so you can take a look and see them and how they are configured. We have the lamp flash that's up here. We have a small microphone that faces forward, which is good for video recording. There's also a lamp flash, and we've got the speaker that's there. The back is not removable on this particular Android device. On the Apple, we have the camera lens here. We have your lamp flash that's there, and that's it. It's pretty much a glass back. Let's take a look at these devices as they would be going around and about. As you can see here, that on the top of the Motorola, we have your earphone jack right up in here. Down the right-hand side, we have your power button up here, and we have your rocker button for volume up and down. On the bottom, we have your just screws which go into the device to open it up. And on the left-hand side of the device, we actually have something that's pretty interesting. We have a dual drawer. One is for the micro SD card. One is for the SIM card that goes into it. So it's a dual drawer system. You just put a little insert in there, and it pops out. We have a sync charge hole, and we have a micro HDMI hole, which makes it so you can attach this thing and put it up into your HDMI TV. How's that for fun and giggles and games? On the iPhone 4S, we have the power button on the top. We have a small microphone hole here on the top also. We have a earphone jack. On the left-hand side, we have the mute switch. We have the power, or I'm sorry, not the power, the volume up and volume down buttons. On the bottom, we have your sync charge hole, the old 30-pin connector, and we have some small speakers. And on the right-hand side, we have your SIM card door to insert your SIM card. Now it's the walk around for both these devices. Okay, so here we can see the Geekbench 2 score on both devices. We have 1567 on the Droid Razr Maxx HD against 1632 for the iPhone 4S. There's of course a huge difference in the processors and age between both these devices, but this is a comparison video for those purposes. The integer score 1003 against 558. The floating point score 2317 against 732. Memory score 1709 against 752, and stream score 638 against 308. We'll page down here. You can stop this at any time if you want to pause the video. You can see the comparisons. Of course, this is an 8 megahertz core and 2 cores, and this is a 1.5, so it definitely is doubling it when it comes to speed for the most part. We'll page down through the scores. You can look at them if you want, and of course pause the video if that's your thing. Look at the individual scores, but for the most part we'll cruise on down to the bottom. Oops, I think we got those. We'll go back up for those of you who may have gotten blasted by the screen, blasted by our lights. So those are the Geekbench 2 comparisons. Okay, so let's take a look at the camera on the device. It's got an impressive camera to it. It definitely is a great camera. I'm very impressed. On the Motorola, let's take a look. You've got, of course, zoom over here where you can zoom in and out. You can also set up to where you can use the volume button for zoom. In settings, you've got some interesting settings here. You've got your widescreen for 8 megapixel. You can also click this and it will go to 6 megapixels to match the screen. Kind of interesting. You can see here you can also use the volume key function as zoom. You can geotag. You can pick your storage location and shutter tone if you want a shutter tone to be able to take and do. I thought it was kind of interesting. It actually defaulted to this 6 megapixel setup, and of course you can see it's the same for the 8 here. Of course, these are most of the things you get with most Android products. You've got pre-made effects you can take and put into play. You've got scenes you can take and do. The modes you can take and do. One thing that was kind of irritating though is it kept suggesting HDR mode in some cases, and I couldn't figure out a way to turn that suggestion off, which is really irritating. It's like a box that pops up here. It's probably the one thing I've kind of gone, what is that? The exposure here, of course, you can adjust, and of course you have your lamp exposure depending upon whether you're in shutter mode, camera mode, or video mode. As in this case we are in video mode, so let's go ahead and kill that light. You can see here we have several different functions. Of course, your normal video MMS, slow motion. That's kind of interesting. A lot of phones now are coming with features of slow or fast motion already built into where you don't need an app, so you've got slow motion mode, which is pretty cool there. You can see here HD video resolution you can adjust. Of course, you got zoom once again with the thing, and on the video resolution you can choose between a number of definitions depending upon what you want to fit your mode. You also have effects, of course, and you also have audio scenes that you can take and do. I guess set up stereo, wind reduction, or concert. I guess wind reduction would be good, and the concert too for that matter. And then of course the thing with the Droid is you can slide that to the side, and you've got that at your beck and call if you ever need it. Of course, you have your ability to switch between your front and back facing cameras. You've got your shutter buttons here, your active record button. You can of course switch between your camera and your video there. let's take a look. Now, the one part that we weren't excited about with the camera was it has a hard time taking really good pictures and focusing in the flash lamp complete darkness situation. So we took this in complete darkness. If you can't tell, it's actually a closet. Okay, this one was a picture that came out fairly well. We had trouble with some of the other ones that we were taking and doing with them trying to get focus sharply on the image. A lot of the images came out blurry. In video mode, it's got a really great lamp to it. And in the video mode, it's got an awesome lamp, and it picks up very well and just shines the room. Not quite totally excited about how well it focused during the whole time, but it did an okay job. The video lamp we were very much more impressed with. It's got a huge lamp to it, just lights up really well, and you can see the colors pop and come out very well. So the only thing we just really struggled with was the camera taking a picture with the flash. Now, let's take a look at some other pictures. Here, once again, we're trying to take pictures with the flash in the complete darkness. This is shot into the sun, so there's a little bit of darkness to this photo, but it takes great outdoor pictures. Very awesome, beautiful colors, everything else on it. We're very impressed with it. Here you can see that there's the video player that's going on with it is shot in a well-lit situation. It's got a very beautiful video player and very beautiful screens, colors. You can see here us using the zoom. The zoom's awesome to use. Very impressed with it. We really like the camera on the phone. Here's another close-up shot. It takes really good close-up shots, and this was really surprises about this video. This is a shot where I'm shooting probably an inch off of the wood, and most cameras can't handle getting this close unless you have a macro lens. This lens did really well. I was very surprised. And the Motorola camera is really good. You can tell, though, there's a lot of pickup of reds and greens. You'll see that also here in this photo, where it picks up a lot of reds and greens pretty heavily. Very much darker than they really are. Here with the apple and the orange and our marble top in the kitchen, really, oh wow, it comes out heavy even in a well-lit situation. So that was one of the trade-offs, but yeah, it takes awesome close-up shots, great video lamp shots, beautiful shots otherwise in both video and photographs. The only place we saw a struggle, like I said, was shooting in the dark, complete darkness with the flash and being able to get the flash focus sequence down properly. But overall, just awesome camera work. Definitely, I would say this is in my top 3 or 5 cameras that I love to be able to use on a regular basis with the mobile phone, I should say. Okay, so let's take a look at the camera on the iPhone 4S. Now, the one thing aspect about it is it's not as customizable as the Android system. You don't have as many features, bells and whistles as you saw earlier that you can take and do. Options-wise, you can choose between a grid and HDR shooting. You can also choose between auto on and off for your flash and your lamp. You can choose between a front-facing camera and a back-facing camera. Very simple here. Of course, you got to switch to both video and taking and doing a photograph. You got your photograph button here to take and make that happen, and that's pretty much it. There's an edit button I'll show you here in a second once you go into photo mode, but it doesn't have like the ISO and exposure and all those sort of different things that it comes with on the Android. Now, here's a picture of my floor. You can see it here. It comes out very well on the Apple iPhone. It is a little bit brighter in its photo than what my actual floor looks like, but it comes out in spectacular detail and looks really good. Here's a low light situation where we're taking a picture with the low lamp. We're taking a flash photo, if you will. And you can see here the colors pop pretty well, and they come out pretty fine from what we can see. Never had too much problem with low light situations. It handles it very well. Here's video of a low light situation that we're in. It takes fairly good pictures in low light. You can see here some of the results we're getting in a dark situation where we're using the lamp to take and light everything up. So you can see a video of a low lamp situation here. Here's another.
Now let's take a look at the camera. You can see here the video camera for the iPhone 4S. It takes pictures a little bit brighter than the normal color of my floor that you can see here, but you can get a good idea of it.
Okay, so you get a good idea of the camera, how it works. Now when you do have a photo and you want to make it look better, you can go into edit mode on here, and you can take and enhance it with some color. You can also eliminate red eye. You can crop it if you so choose, and you can also rotate the photo if you didn't shoot it in the right format of landscape or portrait. So you have those abilities to do that. You also have the ability to take and send it to Apple TV if you want to take and preview your photos on your Apple TV, which is one element you can't do with Android. But there is definitely a lot less customization for the photography element of the iPhone. Besides that, it does take really good photographs. In fact, probably the best I've seen out of all the Android series. All in all, over the years, we've liked both devices. Of course, the iPhone 4S certainly did well in its day and time, and we do love the Motorola Droid Razr Maxx HD, especially with the huge battery and the beautiful screen and all the latest Android toys. So you can decide which one works best for you. Be sure to go to VerizonWireless.com. That's VerizonWireless.com. Thanks to Verizon for providing the phones for us today. And tell them Chris Voss sent you. Chris Voss tested, Chris Voss approved. Compare the products yourself and see which ones you like and make your own decisions. Thanks for coming by.